how are you? So in today's session, we are going to talk about sampling techniques. So sampling techniques basically means when you have a large data sets. Let's say you have just make a model and you have make a decision and try or test it on a sample set. Let's say you make a medicine and you try that medicines on humans on the populations of your country, and you want to figure out that how many of the population will consume your medicine. So one way is to you just think that let's spread this medicine to all over the population and let's figure out that how many people will consume it. But this process will take a lot of time, a lot of things or lot of stuff to get this job done. So better way is to take some sample. Let's say if you are living in a country where population is around 10 lakhs or one more than that 1 million. So you just take a sample population set of 100 people or 200 people. So here today's I'm going to talk about that how you gonna take out those 100 sample people or 200 sample people for your decision testing, or if you're making any medicine for the future purposes for the if you make some medicine and you want to test that on people's, then how you can get your sample datasets from the abundant dataset from the whole population of anywhere else. So today is topic is something like that, sampling techniques. So let's get into this. First of all, let me explain you in main terms, which is sampling is a method that allows us to get information about the population based on the statistics about from a subset of the population sample without having to investigate every individual. So as I take example to explain you, as I take population example to explain you what is sampling, here is also state that when we have to get information about population, so we don't go to the whole population, we just take a small part of population. Let's say if we have the millions of people, then we just take 100, 200 or 500 peoples and grab those people and take their observations, take their information and try to figure out what we have to do and get to know about them. So this is something like sampling in a pictorial way, and the above diagram perfectly illustrate what sampling is. Let's understand that this is at more intuitive level through an example. So I already told you this example. So next comes the types of probability sampling. So as we have uh, different ways where we can get our sample data sets. These are the methods. There are abundant of methods, but here we going to talk about some of these methods only. And if you want to get to know about more, you can try to do R&D on these sampling techniques. You easily get to know about the other sampling techniques too. So here I'm telling you about these sampling techniques, and let's start with it. First sampling technique is simple random sampling. In this simple random sampling, this is a type of sampling technique you must have come across at some point. Here, every individual is chosen entirely by chance, and each member of the population has an equal chance of being selected. So, let's say you are in a class and you have to uh, take out the two student names for the monitoring the class for class monitor. So you just collect all the names of your students in different paper chits, and you just take two paper chits or three paper chits and you just select those students, something like that. You just in the whole data set you just take five samples randomly. You take five samples randomly from the whole data sets. So this is the simple random sampling. You also see these sampling techniques in your day-to-day lifestyle. Next comes the systematic sampling. In this type of sampling, the first individual is selected randomly. The first individual is selected randomly, and others are selected using a fixed sampling interval. So here it's like we have these 20 data points. We have these 20 data points, whole data points, and we have to select some sample points. Let's say we have to select 5 sample points. Then I just choose any of these points. Let's say I choose one, or I choose 2 sample point, and after that I choose 6, and then I choose 10, then I choose 14, then I choose 18. So like this I choose, when first I choose the sample point randomly, then I choose in a systematic order, like adding 4 in this I get 6, adding 4 in this I get 10, adding 4 in this I get 14, adding 4 in this I get 18. So like this I get these data points. And here, as you can see, I take the first sample point as 3, then plus 4 is 7, then plus 4 is 11, then plus 4 is 15, then plus 4 is 19. So here in a systematic order, I just collect the sample points. And this is all about this systematic sampling. Next comes the stratified sampling. So in this type of sampling, we divide the population into subgroups called strata based on different traits like gender, category, etc. And then we select the samples from these subgroups. Now I have this data set, and I have to I have to take out the sample data set, and I have to collect the sample data set from these 20 points. So what I do first, I just organize all the I first organize all the data points according to their color. Let's say this color is a something trait, like if we have a population data sets, then I can make some groups may and then I can make some groups according to their gender or according to their age groups, like adult, small, or old age. So something like that, I make 4 groups, and from those four groups I collect the 5 sample data points by their ratio. Let's, like, as you can see, red, yellow, and green are red, yellow, and green points are equivalent, so I take 1 1 1. And blue points are more in number, so that's why I take 2 points from there, because blue points are more in number. So like this in a strategy where I take my sample data points. And when I'm selecting some point from the particular group, when I'm selecting any point from this particular group, like let's say I have to select a point from this red group, then I can select it, and then I can select a point in a random order. It is not any particular, like you select this or you can select this only. You can select any point from the particular color. Next comes the cluster sampling. As I have these 20 sample points and I make these much clusters, so I just take any one of these cluster, and in a clustered sample we use the subgroups of the population is as the sampling unit rather than individuals. The population is divided into subgroups known as clusters, and the whole cluster is randomly selected to be included in the study. So we just select any of the sub cluster from the is this total data set. So this is all about the cluster sampling. Next comes the convenience sampling. So this is perhaps the easiest method of sampling, because individuals are selected based on their availability and willingness to take part. Here, let's say individuals numbered 4, 7, 12, 15, and 20 want to be part of our sample, and hence we include them in sample. So here, as you can see, I just take 4, 7, 12, 15, and 20. So here, let's say we have a population and we have to gather some 11 points. So convenience is like, if there are some people who are free in their lifestyle, let's say who don't have many work, who are willing to come in our this firm, to who are willing to come in our society to be part of this. Let's say you are doing some test, and they some people are willingly coming to your firm to perform the test. So that's why this is the convenience sampling. Who are willing to come, they were coming to your firm to execute your testing. So this is the convenience sampling. And next comes the quota sampling. So in this type of sampling, we choose item based on predetermined characteristics of the population. Consider that we have to select individuals having a number of in multiple of 4 groups for our sample. So here it's like, let's say we have a population. Let's say we have a cosmetic we are in a firm of cosmetics, and we develop a new cosmetic like any eyeliner or foundation, something like that. So what kind of population do you encounter? What do you think? According to me, we encounter the population who are in the range, who are the women. We not include the men, because we exclude the men because ex men do not do much of this foundation and eyeliner. Men do not use that, so that's why we just cut out the half of the population by just based on the gender, and then we choose females from that. So this is like something the quota sampling, because here the our product is based on some target peoples, not the whole population. Like our cosmetics is based on majorly used by girls, not by the men. So this is all about the quota sampling. Next comes the judgmental. It is also known as selective sampling. It depends on the judgment of the experts when choosing whom to ask to participate. So these are the points, and I select these 1, 7, 10, 15, and 19. So to explain this judgmental, I will take an example of simple. Let's say you are studying in a school, and a teacher came, a class teacher came, and he or she, your class teacher, wants to select two students for the class monitor. So as you all know that class teacher knows about the whole of the students of your class, and they also know about your academics and your strength and weaknesses. So according to that, they do so according to that, your class teacher do judgments on every students, and according to their judgments which they do on whole of the class, they select the top two students and make them as class monitor. So this is like judgmental. According to judgment, they select some selective points or selective data from the whole data set. So this is all about the judgmental, where they select some data from the whole data sets. So according to their criteria, they select some data points from the whole data sets. So that's all for the judgmental, and that's all for the today's session. I just told you about 7 probability sampling techniques, where you can just see the sampling techniques, and you get to know about that how you can get a sample data set from the whole data set, and it will benefit you very well in your near future when you get a data set. As you all know, in the field of data science, machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, data science, data analytics, you get some data sets, and sometimes you get some sample data sets for the testing of your models or something like that. Then these techniques were helpful for you, that while you have the whole data set, you have to select the some data set, some sample data set, some test data set on your own manually, or you can do some coding also. You can make some logic on your own at that time to take the sample data set from the whole data sets. So that's all for the today's session. I will tell you about the basic intuition of these sampling techniques and more about it and how they work. So that's all for the today's session. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Stay motivated and keep learning.